Well, this is in response to 594b, sorry, S0594b. I was not happy I'd published this. I mean, the first part of the recording was okay, but then I wander into, do you see, it's what we do when we're dealing with the media, the net. We're just checking so-and-so and we see such and such, and that opens a door and goodness gracious, in we jump. And you find Marshall spent I don't know how many minutes meditating on something quite negative. I mean, something to do with war. I mean, I was intrigued with a sort of theoretical idea of n dimensions coming down to 1. 2 dimensions we can have a circle, 3 dimensions a sphere, 1 dimension. That's an interesting puzzle. And suddenly you realise, yes, that reminds you of the Zen koan again, doesn't it? That it's a thing that almost defeats the mind, but of course in my arrogance I plough on. I might just crack this one. And I mean, there were interesting consequences, but look, it's a byroad, Marshall. It's a byroad. You can find, you've lost an hour or so on the net quite easily, and certainly 5, 10, 20 minutes going down all these pointless byroads. And then my economics principle comes into mind. What's important? What's priority? That's what should be calling on our resources. And it's the Buddha's advice too. Look, you only have a certain amount of time and resources. Don't waste your time on trying to understand everything. If you like, trust me, this works. Now, I'm not sure as he was right, but it does work. I mean, as you know, I think he majored on simply avoiding suffering, but suffering has a purpose with God. It's not clear what sort of God he was entertaining in his mind, if indeed. Well, of course, the Buddhist religion thinks he wasn't entertaining any view of God, but I think he was. It's just that he didn't like the religious trappings of the day and tried to prune those all out, not throw God out the window with the bathwater. That's not a very reverent way of talking, is it? But you know what I mean, don't you? Okay. Get back to the point. Be very aware of byroads. There's 1 trillion of them. This is what devotion is about. I don't waste my time with, clearly I have here, but hang on a minute. I'm stating the correct principle for a moment. If I don't do what I say, do it. No, don't do what I do. Do what I tell you. Don't go down byroads like Marshall. That's not the way to go. Our thoughts, our devotion, if singularly placed to God, will put you in the right relationship with all things on the understanding, well, you'd be in relationship with the master of the universe. All things. So there's a certain logic in simply devotion to God. But that's not why you're devoted, you see. That's the head knowledge explanation and the validation. in terms of logic. But the reason you love someone is you find you love them in practice. In other words, in your living. Something about your living brings you to value the beautiful, the goodness of nature, the loveliness of a friend, the sweetness of innocence, the goodness of mum, the reliability of dad. I mean, very sexist statement, those two, aren't they? But because we all want both of these qualities, ideally, don't we? Well, I think we do. Do you see it's not? I mean, reasoning is incredibly helpful to us, and it's given us our comfort and way of life. But it's not given us, I think, in itself what we want, which is the feeling, the experience of God. How do I feel and experience God? Well, my thesis is that it's through gratitude. When I'm thankful to someone, my desire is to be close to them. You could say because welfare and survival-wise, they are a great blessing. Yes. What's wrong with that? How lovely. Wouldn't I rather live in a world of such beautiful harmony? Oh, yes, of course. Good. Then we're not going to despise it, are we? No. Okay. This is the ideal, isn't it? That this experience of living brings you to a loveliness of fellowship and harmony and fullness of life, of being with those who are just wonderful. Wow. So, it makes sense, true, to put your resources to that which is good and lovely. Sometimes it's very difficult to do that because there are all sorts of demands in our day, on our life. But where the option's there, whatsoever's good and lovely, think on these things, dwell on these things, abide with these things. Let them transform your whole being, by which I actually mean all your creativity and experience. And that, as I understand it, is the way we move towards heaven. All peace and joy and fulfillment and life eternal. The goodness of God. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.